Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's definitely that time of year where plaid and flannel plaid shirts are going to be the norm. So, thank you for waiting it out. I know the summer was tough for some of you, but anyway, here we are. It's fall. It's damp. It's cool. Damp. That's why we got a different backdrop. It's not especially photogenic, but where I was situated in front of the woodpile, there's not a lot of tree cover and it's kind of drizzly. So, here we are. Variety is the spice of life, right? So, yeah. Um, Today's episode is entitled Mistakes Were Made. And just to let you back behind the curtain a little bit, when I'm planning these episodes, usually I come up with a license plate theme first, and then I try to find a beer that kind of fits the theme in some way. It doesn't always, as you've already seen. But today I had the plate theme picked out, and I was having trouble finding a beer, and then I found it. Um, so today's beer, and mistakes were made. I'm assuming that this beer is going to be a mistake for me personally. It's been pretty well reviewed on Untapped, but today's beer is Luchador at Sunrise by Clown Shoes Brewing. They make great beer, so I'm going to say ahead of time, if I don't like this, it's not because it's not good beer. It's just because right off the bat, um, it's an imperial stout, which you already know what that is from an earlier episode, aged in bourbon barrels. And you can just stop right there because I'm not a bourbon guy anymore. I had a bad time with bourbon back in, I think it was the summer of 2001 at a relative's wedding. Yeah, I don't drink bourbon anymore. We all have stories like that, right? Anyway, so Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels with cinnamon, vanilla, ancho, and chipotle chilies, which is another thing. I like spicy food, but I don't like spicy beer. So, depending on how spicy this is, and as you might have noticed, it's a tall can. I mean, it's 19.2 ounces. And Imperial Stout, you know it's going to be strong, and it is. It is 10.5%. So, and I found this actually at a local grocery store, which is weird. They have a rack of, limited time stuff that they carry, which is cool. And these were just single cans, which now you know why. Almost 20 ounces of 10.5% Imperial Stout. I mean, you're pretty much going to have one of those, and you're going to be good for a while. Anyway, so the other thing about this is I didn't know anything about. This is part of the Kung Fu Ballet series, which is like a year-long series they're doing. They're telling a story about Master Clown Shoes through barrel-aged beers, and they're also putting accompanying comic strips on their website, which is clownshoesbeer.com. So I'm not really a comic book guy, but if this sounds really cool, and it is cool, it's just not really my thing. Um, Check out clownshoesbeer.com, and then if you go down a little bit, they'll have a little box that says Kung Fu Ballet series, and you can check that out. But I missed the first two beers. This is the third beer in the series, so we're just going to pour this thing. And here's this giant mug. I don't know where I got this. I was trying to find some large vessel that could possibly hold 19.2 ounces of beer, and I found this. It looks like something from a restaurant. I hope I didn't come by it unethically. Anyway, here it is. So let's. I'm in the low chair again. So let's see if this all fits in the mug. I think it might. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. It's like I planned it. I assure you I didn't. This is dumb luck. And too much foam, of course, because that's how we roll. Ooh, and a dirty. Yeah, it's dirty. Jeez. Oh well. Yeah, wow, look at that. Yuck. If you're in a restaurant, you'd be horrified, but we're just sitting in the woods, so it's okay. Um, yeah, you know what? I'll tell you, it's not as strong on the bourbon as I was expecting, but yeah, I'm picking up on some vanilla there, some cinnamon. Um, it's got a round mouthfeel. You know what that means too. See, educational. Woo. Hmm. You can pick, yeah, you can pick up on the bourbon, and you can definitely. I mean, it doesn't really hide the fact that it's an imperial stout. That's 10.5%. You definitely know it's got a good mouthfeel to it, and it finishes. Yeah, you can pretty much pick up on. I'll tell you what though, the chilies are not as. They're definitely not very prominent, and especially with the chipotles. I love chipotle, the smokiness, but it's just very faint in the background. But you can definitely pick up on the. You got the bourbon notes. You got the cinnamon. You got the vanilla. I'm not picking up so much on the chilies, but hmm, mm, gosh, it's got bourbon right on the nose too. You can pick up on it. But I tell you what, it's kind of the weird position I'm in where I kind of set us up with the mistake, but no, I could totally drink this actually. Yeah, yeah, it's good actually. Surprise. I was planning on it being a mistake, but yeah, I was expecting it to be a lot more spicy, and that was going to put me off, and a lot more bourbon, and that was going to put me off. And but anyway, so the plates. We got multiple plates. We got two states we're talking about. First, we'll talk about New Mexico. So New Mexico still issues plates that are very similar to this. Unfortunately, this was a very distinctive die set they used for quite a while. They use a more generic one now. Whatever. Um, they have a few different plates that they offer, but this is like the standard. A lot of people know this one, even if you don't know license plates. Very iconic for New Mexico, and they used to do the county stickers up here. They don't do them anymore. So, but anyway, so they had this. This is from 1991. Um, so they had the turquoise in the top. They had the New Mexico USA, and then the Land of Enchantment in turquoise along the bottom. So this was a regular passenger plate for cars. So they had a trailer plate, which is similar. Jeez. So the difference, obviously, it doesn't have the Land of Enchantment on the bottom, and they moved the New Mexico USA down so they could put this one's for a trailer. I believe they use this for other non-passenger issues as well. But so there's space down there, so they could stamp whatever the type was. So they had the extra room. So what happened was in the middle of see that first plate was at APC. So by the time they got to the middle of the K series, some of the plates they stamped on the trailer base. So they would look like this. So kind of an error, it's an error plate. It doesn't look like it's supposed to. Probably a few thousand of these. I don't have the exact numbers, but somewhere in the middle of the K series, they did some of these. So technically, just an error. They just went ahead and issued them because they still say New Mexico. They have, but just a little different. They used the wrong base. They used the trailer base for this, but anyway, so they did a few thousand, issued them. So they're fairly rare, but they seem around. So we have a main version of that, which is a lot more scarce. In fact, the only plate that I've seen with this error is the one that I'm going to show you. It's the only one I've ever seen, and I was able to grab it. So the Maine lobster plate, you've probably seen this. It's an optional plate. It's been around since, I think, 2003. It's a long time. Very, very, very popular. A lot of these on the road. So, has the graphic, says lobster at the bottom. So they also issued some non-passenger plates on the lobster base, like this commercial plate. So what they did was they used a different different sheeting doesn't have the lobster at the bottom, so they could stamp the word commercial. So, similar to what we just saw with New Mexico, there are very few of these where they use the commercial blank that doesn't have the lobster at the bottom and they stamped a regular passenger plate on it. So, looks like that. So, like I said, this is the only one I've seen that looks like this. So, very uncommon variation. There's more than one. A friend of mine has seen one of these, but not common. And again, it's an error, but it's still perfectly fine plate. It just doesn't have the lobster at the bottom. But that's it. It's a mistake. Anyway, you look at it. So, forgot to say Slangia. Sorry. Hmm. Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for the support. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free. Feel free to binge watch a bunch of episodes. There are a bunch of them out there. What is this, 23? So, yeah, including this one, you get 23 episodes to watch. If you got a damp fall day, boy, never a bad time to binge watch Plates, Pints, Plaid episodes. Never. Especially now that we're wearing plaid. We're going to be wearing this regularly now, so please stop the hate mail. Some of it's pretty disturbing. Anyway, I guess that's it. So see you next time.